Good afternoon and welcome to Hewish Park. Today's game is Yeovil Town versus Wrexham. Yeovil come into this one off the back of two 2-2 draws against two newly promoted sides, Kings Lynn and Wealdstone respectively. Wrexham, who've been in the news recently for rumours of a Hollywood takeover, come into this one with one win and one loss. I'm delighted to be joined by journalist and Wrexham fan James Kelly. James, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Marcus. It's a bit weird to be in a football stadium. I haven't been in any football stadium since this game last season, actually, weirdly enough. But hopefully it won't be quite as bad as it was that time around.
Yeah, obviously 3-0 last time out against these two and 3-3 earlier on in the season at the racecourse. So 9 goals in 2 matches. So we'll hope for somewhat of a goal fest for the neutrals among you. To bring you some team news, Yeovil have made 4 changes going into this one. Adam Smith keeps his place in goal with a back four of Dan Ledbitter, Lee Collins, Luke Wilkinson and Carl Dickinson. A midfield 4 of Matt Worthington, Charlie Lee, Albie Skendi, who returns from injury, and Jimmy Smith. And then up front, making his debut, Matt Warburton and Rhys Murphy. On the bench for the Glovers, Burke, Staunton, Rogers, Diath and Duffus. So there's a lot of quality on the bench there for the Glovers to bring on. For Wrexham, after their 1-0 loss to Solihull Moors, they make one change. Their lineup is as follows. In goal, they have Rob Lainton. The defence of Reece Hall-Johnson, Theo Vassell, Fikra Kelleher and Jamie Record. A midfield 3, we think, of Luke Young, Jay Harris and Jordan Davis. And then a front 3 of Paul Rutherford on the right, Anthony Jeffrey on the left and Kwame Thomas up front, with Dibble, Carrington, Durrell, Jarvis and Ponticelli on the bench. James, how do you make the Wrexham lineup? Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I think it's pretty standard from what can be expected. Unfortunately, our captain Sean Pearson is still injured, as is our main striker Adi Yusuf. So as a result, we've kind of switched the shape slightly. I'm interested to see how Jordan Davis gets on. He's someone that he came through our academy and then we sold him to Brighton before he made his full team debut. So I'm hoping to see him for the first time. Hopefully he can do something. I think it's a fairly sort of standard team. The back 5 seems pretty settled. It seems as if this is what we're going to go with for the majority of the season. In terms of going forwards, Anthony Jeffrey is someone to watch out for. He's very, very quick. And Kwame Thomas is not particularly prolific as a striker, but he'll be looking to get on the end of some knockdowns and hoping to use his physicality to lay it off to Jeffrey and Rutherford.
The teams have now come out. Yeovil with the all green top and white shorts and Wrexham in all red. Yeovil are going to attack the away end in this first half. It's just a few minutes from kick-off, and I think everyone will be anticipating Matt Warburton's debut for Yeovil Town, someone who scored against us for Stockport County in the FA Cup when we got lost to Stockport in a bit of an upset when they were back in the National League North and Yeovil was still in the Football League then. So he has started every game so far for Northampton this season. So I think a few Cobblers fans were surprised to see him go out on loan, especially to this level. But from a Yeovil point of view, it looks a great signing, to be honest. Who's the man to look out for Wrexham, James? Any sort of new signings or danger men?
As I said, I'm looking forward to seeing how number 29, Jordan Davis, gets on. He's someone that is very highly rated among Wrexham fans. And also, I'm intrigued to see how Kwame Thomas is used. We've struggled in the past with a sort of lack of physicality up front, so I'll be intrigued to see if he makes a difference.
Yeah, Yeovil, with a lot of fans asking for that big target man, but I think Matt Warburton will do just the job. He can play in a sort of number 10 attacking midfield role, but from the way Yeovil are lining up today, it looks like he's going to be up front with Rhys Murphy, and we have kick-off. Wilkinson plays it forward initially. Skendi, they're not afraid to get into the action early on after coming back from injury. And there's the first offside of the afternoon. So you lost 1-0 to Solihull in your last game, James. How do you assess your past 2 games? Are they deserved sort of victories and losses, or obviously the Boreham Wood 2-1 win and then a 1-0 loss to Solihull?
Yeah, it's a bit strange, to be honest with you, because I feel like when we played Boreham Wood, I'd probably say we're lucky to get the 3 points. Boreham Wood towards the end were pressing, and we couldn't really have been aggrieved if we'd have got a point out of that. And then the Solihull game, I think we were actually the better team. So, you know, it's just how football goes, I guess. But be interested to see how we get on today.
No chances of late. We're 57 seconds in. See, Rhys Murphy hasn't quite made the 28-second impact that he did in the last game. But we'll be hoping that he can get among the goals this afternoon. It looks like Rutherford is on the left for Wrexham. So that's something to look out for, as Yeovil have a free kick here with Adam Smith to take. Charlie Lee wins that. Worthington tries to win and presses well against Rutherford as Record wins the header. Now Wrexham looking to counter. Leadbitter adjudged to have fouled his man there. Obviously Leadbitter with a heroic challenge in the last minute against Wealdstone in the last game. His pace was really shown there, and he was up against not a slow player, so that was potentially a point-saving challenge there right at the end of the game. And it looked to have been a good signing so far. A back 4 full of experience for Yeovil today, with Leadbitter, Wilkinson, Collins and Dickinson. Leadbitter there, the youngest at 30 years old, so shows you just how experienced Darren Sarll wants his side to be. Very strong bench for Yeovil today, with Duffus, who Darren Sarll said he wasn't sure if he was going to play. I think he's worried about overplaying the players. Obviously, in this condensed season, there's going to be so many games, and he doesn't want, because we've got such a small squad this season so far, he doesn't want it to be a sort of injury hit season and then run out of players. Carl Dickinson with the free kick on the throw-in, on the left-hand side. Played over looking for Kwame Thomas. Skendi loses out. It's played to Record. Warburton's pressing. Davis plays well. Rob Lainton kicks there. Obviously, in the last fixture here, Courtney Duffus with a bit of a freak goal, you could say, against Rob Lainton after he was pressing him from whenever Lainton had the ball, and Lainton just dropped it and Duffus was there to tap in. James, do you remember that goal well? Something you want to remember?
It keeps me awake at night.
Here's Collins, plays it forward. That's a throw-in. Not a lively start here. Yeovil will be hoping so that they can recover the form from the second half of the game against Wealdstone, certainly. They conceded a penalty that looked quite harsh. The point-blank range went straight into the hand of Charlie Lee, and then a very sloppy set-piece goal to concede. Now here comes Hall Johnson, who shoots, and it's a good save from Adam Smith. Adam Smith's first save of the day, and it was a good strike from the new right-back for Wrexham, signed from Northampton in the summer. He'll know Matt Warburton well, but that was, again, the full-backs pushing up like they did for Wealdstone, and Yeovil have got to watch out so that their full-backs don't commit. It was a good effort there, and Wrexham now have a corner. Davis to take the corner. Puts it in, and it's scrapped away, and Yeovil just about get it clear. It comes. Yeovil players appealing for a handball there. It was Jay Harris with the effort from the edge of the box, and it was bouncing around. It could have been very similar to the goal against Wealdstone, and Adam Smith collects. James, what do you make of that early passage of play, the first real attack there of the game?
Yeah, it's certainly encouraging from a Wrexham perspective. I mean, you mentioned the effort from Hall Johnson. He scored in the opening day against Boreham Wood. In terms of the corner from Davis, nice in-swinger. I think it shows already Kwame Thomas has put himself about. He's won a few headers, and that really is something that we have lacked in past years. So I think that's something that you mentioned. Yeovil having a very experienced defence. They're going to have to be on their game today to keep him quiet, winning those balls in the air.
You'd hope so. Here comes Skendi winning the ball. Plays it through to Murphy, who's onside, but he just can't quite get there ahead of Theo Vassell. Adam Smith's going to try and keep this one in. Here's Wilkinson with time. It almost looks like Jimmy Smith playing on the left-hand side there, offering an option to Carl Dickinson. Murphy with a heavy touch there. Now Dickinson's got to chase, he's got to get there before Jeffrey, and he does. And Smith kicks it long. Very windy day, it should be said here, in Somerset at Hewish Park. Whether that will play into the result of this fixture, you'd hope not, but it always has potential. I remember playing Leeds at home in the Championship in 2013-14. There were some crazy goals there that Leeds scored against Yeovil. One from Ross McCormack, who's obviously now playing at this level with Aldershot Town, although I don't think he's yet played a minute for them. Here's Charlie Lee. The long throw is going to come in here. They're going to try. These didn't really work against Wealdstone, but they're going to go for it. Lee launches. It went long. That was probably the longest we've seen, but no one was there to meet. Smith keeps it alive. Skendi blocks the clearance, and it comes to Worthington. Lots of flicks here in the Wrexham box. Ledbetter again. There's Murphy. Wilkinson with the effort. It was a left-footed half volley, and it looked more of a hopeful one, but Langton there with a comfortable save. Something Langton, I think, is complaining about is it the air pressure in the ball? Any other opinions on this, James?
I'm not sure if it's popped or something. There's something wrong with it for sure.
Yeah, the ball's been played away. So it's going to be a new ball, a bit of a break in play. Murphy is going to do exactly what Courtney Duffus did against Wrexham last time. Whether he can do it as effectively, we'll find out. But Langton has learnt his lesson and picks up this time. It's a long kick from Langton. Obviously, the wind helping that one. And that is going to be really hard for whichever team is going with the wind. And Rutherford's in on the left, plays it in, and cleared by Lee Collins. It comes to Jay Harris, thinks about the shot, beats Skendi, thinks about the shot again, and beats Charlie Lee. And it's scrapping around, and Smith just rebounds off Matt Worthington, and Yeovil clear. Now there's the chance to counter with Rhys Murphy. But Record with great defending there. Yeovil looking a bit shaky defensively. Skendi and Lee beaten far too easily there as Luke Wilkinson fouls Kwame Thomas there. Jay Harris beating two men there. Is that something we expect to see from Jay Harris, James?
I wouldn't say that it's his game, to be honest with you. He's more known as a kind of combative defensive midfielder, but I'm certainly all for it. It was a very impressive run there. And I'm impressed with the way Wrexham started this, to be honest.
Now another set piece for Yeovil to defend. They'll be hoping to do more with this one rather than let it fly into the box. Thomas looks to wins it, but Wilkinson gets there ahead of him. Lee heads out. There's no one there. Jay Harris looking for the shot again there. Played back in. And here's Rutherford in space. Record beats Matt Worthington. Plays it to Hall Johnson. Could have another shot. Here's Jeffrey. Up against Carl Dickinson, who does well to push him away and wins the ball. That was fantastic defending from Carl Dickinson, but he's now lost out again to Jay Harris, who plays the ball in, and luckily captain Lee Collins is there to head away. Here's Hall Johnson again, played in, and there's Kwame Thomas at the far post, and he was just left completely unmarked there. Good ball in, but a Yeovil player's really got to be there, and it's 1-0 to Wrexham. James.
Yeah, well, I think it's a very good piece of play again from Harris. I think, as I say, it isn't quite his game that he's known for, but he's done well there. And Hall Johnson obviously has recycled the ball, got the cross in. Like you say, it's a decent finish from Thomas, but I feel like there really needs to be a Yeovil man there on the back post. It's a bit of a soft goal to give away from a Yeovil perspective.
It was all coming down that right-hand side for Wrexham. Carl Dickinson did well to stand Anthony Jeffrey up, but it just deflected back down the right-hand side. Harris with some nice play, fell to Hall Johnson with a good ball in, and then Kwame Thomas was there to tap in, and it's 1-0 to Wrexham, 10 minutes in here. Yeovil Town yet to keep a clean sheet this season. It's their third game, and they'll be desperate to get an instant equaliser. It's in Wrexham's half. Here's Jimmy Smith. Carl Dickinson just finding no one, and now Rutherford's got the opportunity to break. He finds Kwame Thomas, not the best touch from him, but records in space on the left. Again, it's all coming down that right-hand side. Dickinson's going to try and block that. It comes to Thomas, who wins the header, and it's a shot off target. Yeovil really struggling. It's just all been Wrexham so far in this opening 10 minutes. And Darren Sarr will not be happy. Yeovil need to keep the ball, pass it around a bit, and just slow it down and gain control of this game as Lee Collins brings the ball out and places a very risky pass there to Charlie Lee, but it works out, and now they can break. Ball played to Matt Warburton, but Vassell will get there in front of him. Warburton pressing very, very energetically there as Thomas wins another header. Shouts for handball there, and it's a bit of a scrap, but Yeovil come out on top. Now Leadbitter with space ahead of him. Murphy making a run, intercepted by Record. Here's Lee Collins returning to the starting 11 after starting on the bench against Wealdstone. Darren Sarr saying he hadn't had a full pre-season. Skendy looks to win, but it's given as a foul, the linesman's given there. The Wrexham players are applauding the linesman as Skendy just muscles around Vassell. So James, I'm sure you'll be delighted with your start there.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a positive start from Wrexham. I mean, obviously, 1-0 up is a decent return. I think, like you say, down the right-hand side, Hall Johnson particularly has impressed me. I think he's looked to get one or two good balls in. Also, I mentioned him before, but Thomas has really looked to impose himself on the defence. I think Record as well. There was that cross into the box then that I'm not sure. I mean, it's a bit difficult for Thomas with the potential shout from Record was behind him, but if Record could have heard him, there was a potential chance there. But I think, yeah, like you say, Yeovil just need to sort of keep their cool and just try and get a foothold in this game, because like you say, so far it has been all Wrexham.
Yeovil looking to bring it forward, but it's a Wrexham throw there. Yeah, the full-backs again for the opposition team. Wrexham in this instance really pushing up and causing Yeovil problems. We had Mishi Fete in the last game causing problems down that right-hand side, and it's Reece Hall Johnson this time. He scored 27 minutes into his debut against Boreham Wood. And he had a good effort early on here as well. Skendy out-muscles, but no foul given. Leadbitter with a looping throw-in. Collins there with a shaky clearance, and it comes to Luke Young, but Wilkinson's there to sweep up. And Record wins the second ball there. His Dickinson's clearance goes straight to Luke Young, who has an effort, but Dickinson did well to block the effort after his poor clearance. And here comes Jeffrey now, goes for the effort, and it just goes wide of the post. Smith saw that wide, but again, He cut in on his left, and it's a danger for Yeovil down that right and down both these wings. They really need to sharpen up and just get more men back. No recognised wingers in the Yeovil squad, really, so they're not going to be able to track back as Warburton tries to link up with Murphy, but loses out, and now Rutherford's got space on this left-hand side. Cuts in, plays the ball in. Jeffrey's there, he wins it, but he couldn't quite get, just a bit too high for him, and he couldn't quite play it back across goal. 15 minutes in here, and Wrexham have been by far the better team. Yeovil with no chances as of yet, and Wrexham with a fair few, especially from that right-hand side. Going to try and play it out from the back again. Not a lot of height in this Yeovil team, apart from the man on the ball at the moment, Albie Skendi, who's going to try and go on one of his runs, and he keeps the ball for Yeovil. Here's Warburton on his debut. Worthington just misplaces the pass and gifts possession away again. Davis trying to find Thomas running in behind, but that's not the sort of player Kwame Thomas is it, James? He's more of a target man, and to be fair to him, he's been winning the majority of the headers in this match, and that's not encouraging for Yeovil.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I have mentioned it before, but I think it's something that Yeovil do need to be aware of. I'm not really sure why he's trying to play out the back so often. There's been one or two mistakes given away, and I think it may be just easier if you just sort of, at the present moment, just clear the ball up, just to get, as I say, just to get a bit of calmness in the team, because they don't really look settled at the moment, Yeovil. You say a few loose passes all over the place, and the ball now bouncing around, and it hasn't really been any flow to it for Yeovil so far.
Yeovil haven't really had the best of starts in any of their 3 games so far, but nice play down that left-hand side, but it comes to nothing as Leadbitter's going to try and press Record, but it comes to Rutherford, who's been playing in the National League for over a decade now. No other league since then, since the 2009-10 season. And here come Wrexham again down that right-hand side. Luke Young with a shooting chance, but Charlie Lee there sweeps up, and Skendy's got to get there, and he does well and finds space ahead of him. Tries to beat Hall Johnson, but just misses out. And you think there, after he's beaten the first man, he just has to lay that pass off then and keep possession for Yeovil. Record finds Rutherford on the left-hand side. It's all coming down the wings for Wrexham here. Skendi staying very high up. Reece Murphy's deeper than him at the moment. At the moment it looks like Skendi and Warburton up top, but I'm sure it's a very interchangeable system that Darren Sile has put out here today. Lainton with the opportunity to kick it long now. He'll be looking for the head of Kwame Thomas. Comes to him, but Wilkinson's there just a bit in front of Thomas. Now Worthington. Here's Jordan Davis with space. Yeovil just not really getting stuck in here, and there's a lot of space here on the right for Hall Johnson, who's lining up the shot and goes for it, but completely mishits that one. That's the second time he's had the angle of that shot on and gone for it. So Yeovil have got to watch out that they're not giving Wrexham players too much space. And it's another goal kick here for Yeovil. And contrary to what James thinks, it looks like they're going to try and play out from the back here again. Adam Smith seems to have heard me and gone long. Dickinson missing out. Yeovil really struggling to win the aerial battles here. As I said, Skendi probably the tallest man for Yeovil, and then you've got Wilkinson, but other than that, not a huge amount of height in this team, whereas Wrexham have got the likes of Kelleher, Vassell, Kwame Thomas. Here is Record. Wilkinson wins a header in that one. Wilkinson, who's been in great form in the early part of this season. He scored against Kings Lynn, but here come Wrexham again down this right-hand side. Played into Jeffrey. Smith is going to look to block it. Gets something on it, but it comes to Rutherford inside the box. Goes for the shot, and it hits a Yeovil player. It's still Wrexham with the ball. Coming down the left-hand side. Davis beats his men far too easily. Wilkinson again is there to clear. Yeovil really struggling with any possession in this opening 20 minutes. Vassell now from centre-back, beating his men too easily, but Worthington puts the stop to that. Plays out to Murphy. Another missed pass there for Yeovil as Leadbitter just keeps that one in. And now they're going to try and keep the ball. But it's just Wrexham are pressing too much and they just can't quite get a hold on it, and they lost out again, and Collins had to be there. It's been a terrible start, quite frankly, from Yeovil, and they're really struggling to string 2 or 3 passes together here. Record here now with the throw. Any long throw-ins in your team, James?
Incidentally, Record is known for his long throws. Well, he's gone short there to Jordan Davis.
It's a nutmeg on Leadbitter, and Record's in here, plays it in, and it's Carl Dickinson that had to be there as the Yeovil players are complaining that Kwame Thomas took Lee Collins out there in defending. But again, Yeovil just opened up far too easily, and they're really struggling, and it's a set piece now. All Yeovil players back. Murphy just on the edge of the box, but no one to pick out to counter. They'll just be hoping that it's not a repeat of another sort of set-piece disaster. It's Jeffrey to take. A lot of Wrexham players in the box there. It comes to Thomas at the far post, but it goes just over him, out for a goal kick. James, a woeful start from Yeovil, but Wrexham have been all over Yeovil 22 minutes in.
Well, it's strange what a difference 8 months makes, isn't it? Because this, not only are there no fans here, but it really is completely different in terms of the Wrexham performance. I mean, it's basically been all in Yeovil's half, and it's really, really strange. As I say, it just seems the flanks are so open at the present moment for Wrexham to get down, and it just seems to be, it almost looks to me as if some of the Yeovil players aren't comfortable on the ball, which is extremely strange, because from what I know, this is still pretty much the same team you had last season, isn't it?
This team has 2 different players, as Wrexham appeal for a penalty there. They're the only players from last season who weren't there, from last season, are Warburton and Leadbitter. Obviously, we've signed a few players now permanently. But Yeovil now, I think it's a drop ball because it hit the referee. Now Yeovil with the ball. It's a good chance for Yeovil to really try and just play it around, but Collins instantly goes for the long ball to Skendi, who does win it. He used his body very well there, Skendi, with a huge frame, Albie Skendi. Obviously a revelation last season, signed from Stratford Town in the summer, and I don't think anyone was really expecting him to have the season that he did, becoming a cult hero so quickly at Hewish Park. Yeovil with the ball in Wrexham half now, but lose out instantly to Luke Young. Skendi with the flick. Matt Warburton currently hasn't had the opportunity to show Yeovil Town fans what he's all about. He'll be hoping that he can make some sort of impact in this game as Wrexham win a free kick. Wrexham will take their time with this. They'll be very happy with this. Obviously, quite frankly, very poor season for Wrexham last season. And there's been a huge squad overhaul this summer. A lot of players signed, a lot of new players. How do you assess that, James?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, in the end, with the points per game system, we finished 19th, and to be honest, given the run-in that Wrexham had, it was very lucky that they didn't end up going down, because it was truly a dreadful performance just week in, week out last season. It was the lowest finish, and 156 years of the club, and like you say, the squad has basically had an overhaul in terms of the players starting today. Only 3 players, I think, off the top of my head, in Young, Lainton and Rutherford were here last season. So it's very much a new team, but it doesn't really look like it from the opening 25 minutes.
They're not playing like a new team, that's sure. Here's a corner, another corner for Wrexham. Jeffrey to take this one, as Yeovil appealed for this. Smith goes to punch, and it's given a foul. Someone was tripped there in the box for Yeovil, and Yeovil Town avoid any disasters from that corner. Yeah, as you say, it's a huge squad overhaul, but Wrexham really look like they've been playing together for months, but playing very well at the moment. And Yeovil, quite the opposite, no squad overhaul at all, but can't string passes together as another one goes astray. Here's Skendy, going to try and beat Jay Harris. Is it down the wing for Rhys Murphy? And Kelleher has to clear that one for a throw-in. Kelleher, brother of Liverpool youth player. He's a goalkeeper, been on the bench a few times. I think played in a thrilling game, Carabao Cup game against Arsenal. But Fikra Kelleher, however, is centre-back. And Charlie Lee's going to go for the long throw-in. I hope the wind can help it. It comes in, here's Warburton, he's held, and he goes down, and the referee gives nothing there. The Wrexham defenders' arms looked to me like they were linking around Matt Warburton there, and he went down, he tried to turn and shoot, but he was just prevented. And I think that potentially should have been a penalty. James, am I being biased?
I think, to be honest with you, it certainly looked as if you had a case for one there. I think in all fairness, Wrexham have got away with one.
The first real chance in the box for Yeovil, and Warburton looking to turn and shoot. He was about 6 yards from the goal. He was just held and pulled down, and the referee wasn't having any of it there. Yeovil will be annoyed there, as I think that was a very good shout for a penalty, but we had the Kings Lynn. Obviously, Kings Lynn's first goal was very, very dubious, considering the offside, and then Charlie Lee felt a bit hard done by for the penalty against Wealdstone on Tuesday night. And I wonder if Darren Sarr will be wondering if Yeovil could have got a penalty there. Wrexham now down the right-hand side. But Yeovil win the throw. Coming up to the half-hour mark here. Yeovil, really, that was the only, if you can call that a chance of note. No shots yet for Yeovil. But they will feel hard done by for that decision from the referee. Skendy chests it down and plays it long, but there's just no one there. He's apologising, but I think he was just assuming that Leadbitter would be there, but it's just a completely aimless pass, and it went straight out for a throw-in, and now Wrexham can take their time on this throw-in and get the ball back. If he just played that along the floor to one of the midfielders, he could have started something for Yeovil, but records come into the stands here at Hewish Park, and he's tried to take the ball from the stands, but the officials have told him he's not allowed to use that ball because it's got to be disinfected before it's allowed back on the pitch, and he's now got another ball from a cone. Thomas winning the flick there again. Such an experienced team, this Yeovil team, with the two exceptions, you'd say, potentially Albie Skendy and Matt Worthington, but they have not at all been playing with the experience that they have, and you've got to hope that it will be another impressive second half from Yeovil and that they'll sort of really get back into it, but they need to be better in these first halves. This is the third time that they've struggled in the first half, and to be honest, they're lucky that it's only 1-0 to Wrexham. So Warburton wins a free kick for Yeovil there. James, this is your first game, obviously. I mean, the last game you were physically at was Yeovil Wrexham all that time ago. But how does it feel, obviously, with no fans and it being a league game?
It's certainly very different, doesn't it? It almost feels a bit like a training session. It has a very odd feel to it, but I think we were talking earlier, just before the game, about getting fans back into the stadium as Worthington has a shot there. I feel like it's one of those things that it really needs to be kind of reviewed, because I think from a logistical point of view, I'm not really sure why you couldn't get fans in here. I mean, you can see how empty it is. You can easily distance.
As Wrexham look to counter here. Here's Hall Johnson down the wing. Worthington's there to cover and does really well to win that back. He's been playing mostly on the right-hand side this afternoon, but he did well there to recover and fill in for the gaps that were there. And now there's just so much space for record here. Paul Rutherford easily beats all his men and cuts inside. And here's Jordan Davis. And it's given for a free kick there. Now this is a good opportunity for Wrexham. Yeovil will bring all their players back, as they usually do for this. Murphy's not happy, as he so often isn't. He's getting into the referee's face. But it looks like Record's going to take this free kick. Davis and Jeffrey also standing over it. It's a great opportunity to get the ball into the likes of Kwame Thomas, Fikra Kelleher. Yeovil will be hoping they can do all they can to defend this one. How have the set pieces been for Wrexham? Are they take their chances, or?
In all fairness, I mean, Luke Young scored a very good free kick on the opening day against Boreham Wood. Obviously, this is going to be swung in rather than taken directly. It's a bit too far out. As Davis just feints there. Looks as if it's going to be swung in, like you say, for the likes of Thomas and Kelleher.
It's swung in here. Kelleher's at the far post, and it's offside. Yeovil with a high line there, but it paid off as they defend that free kick. It looked like Kelleher was just going to get there, but he clearly had just strayed offside. Here's Yeovil, not looking to play out from the back, it seems, this time. As Smith goes long. Skendy's the one they're aiming for, as he's that sort of focal point. Rutherford did well there to play it back to Record. Yeovil now need to just keep the ball. Warburton linking up, coming deeper, fouled by Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis, a Wrexham Academy boy, then went to Brighton and Hove Albion before returning this summer and made his debut at the age of 22 after being in the Wrexham Academy for so many years. Made his debut finally on Tuesday night against Solihull. Dickinson with this free kick, looking for Charlie Lee and Albie Skendy. Skendy's there. He'll get this ball. Skendy pokes it out to Worthington. Skendy going to try and beat his man here. But he's been beaten, and Rutherford gets the clearance out, and Dickinson will be there. Jeffrey was running very quickly at Dickinson there, and Dickinson had to play it when he did. Wrexham screaming to press, and they're doing very well. As Jimmy Smith just waits there for the ball to come to him, but he had to stop moving earlier as it's gone straight out for a Wrexham throw. Yeovil have been slightly, marginally better than in those first 20 or so minutes when they were just conceding chance after chance down the wings, as Leadbitter has a lot of space to run into here. Fires it into Albie Skendy, who does well considering the pace of the pass. Warburton's coming deep here. He can play in that attacking midfield role, and it's where it looks like he'll be playing. He was so prolific for Curzon Ashton and Stockport. He looks to pick out Rhys Murphy, but just can't quite do it. As Jeffrey beats Carl Dickinson there, and now got space, plays it round, but it's gone straight out there. That was a... It looks like he's gone down with an injury there that's concerning for Wrexham. He didn't start the last game, and he's started here, and he's kicked the ball out because he's in pain.
Yeah, you could see just then when Jeffrey was running down the right-hand side, something went in his hamstring, I think. He just sort of stopped and kind of kicked the ball out almost in anger because he got away and had quite a bit of space down the right-hand side as the players have a well-deserved water break here after 35 minutes.
Not sure this weather, worthy of a water break, but it's a great opportunity for Darren Searle to tell the Yeovil players what they need to be doing and, quite frankly, to sort them out. I mean, obviously half-time in 10 minutes, but you'd be hoping that it's a good opportunity to gather their thoughts, restructure, and just... Basically, I think Yeovil need to try and not concede in this last 10 minutes. And it looks like there's going to be a change for Wrexham here as Jeffrey can't carry on. Who would be the natural replacement, James?
I'm assuming it's going to be Jake Bickerstaff. I'm not 100% sure. I can't actually see the player that's been...
I'm not sure Bickerstaff made the bench in the end after his fitness test. Trying to see what number the fourth official's holding up. And has a change been made? I think Wrexham are currently playing with 10 men. Yeah, they're playing with 10 men for these last few minutes. Well, for the next few minutes until a substitute's ready.
Yeah, I can just see Elliot Durrell there sort of stripping off. It looks as if he's going to come on to replace Anthony Jeffrey.
Elliot Durrell knows where the back of the net is. Certainly in 2020, signed for Altrincham at the new year and scored 6 goals in 7 games as he fired Altrincham to the National League and then signed for Wrexham in the summer. Looks like he's going to be the one. He's getting his kit on. And Yeovil have another free kick to defend from a good position. It's Jordan Davis to take this one. Left-footed in-swinger this is going to be. He's gone for the shot, it looked like. Was that a shot, James?
I don't know. I'm not sure if he intended to get it that low, but it certainly looked as if he was aiming for the goal, wasn't it?
Maybe he'd been watching Joe Bryan in the playoff final for Fulham, but not quite the same outcome. Here Yeovil with time to keep the ball and pass it around. Smith looking forward, but he's passed it to Charlie Lee there, who's... All play goes through Charlie Lee. When he's playing in that role, everything goes through him. Here's Warburton. Yeovil just passing it around a bit more. Maybe Darren Searle said something to them as they had that water break as Anthony Jeffrey was injured. And here's... You can see Durrell warming up for Wrexham. Yeovil just really playing the ball around a lot more nicely at the minute as Skendi looks to chase that, but Langton is quick out of his goal to gather. Just over 5 minutes until half-time here. And Langton not dropping the ball this time and going long. Here's Jimmy Smith, re-signed on a permanent deal in the summer after such a successful loan spell last season. He started that loan spell so well, and then it was extended in January, and now he's here. Warburton plays it into Skendi. Skendi trying to hold the ball up, just can't quite do it, and gives away a free kick as it came to Murphy, but it's gonna. Here's the sub for Wrexham. Jeffrey coming off for Elliot Durrell. It's his second spell at Wrexham after he spent a season here, well, not here, but at Wrexham in 2014-15. Impressed in that first spell, James, for Durrell, or Is he hoping for more this time?
I think you'd hope for more this time. I mean, it was very much a case that you could tell there was a player there, but he was a bit inconsistent. It never quite clicked for him. And then he ended up actually going to Chester, our bitter rivals, before he ended up going to, as you say, Macclesfield, where he was so successful in getting them promoted.
Yeovil with a good spell of possession there, and they'll be hoping to continue that. But now Wrexham have the ball in the Yeovil half with a throw in here for record. Gives it to Luke Young, and Worthington's there to win. A shout of better from a Yeovil player there, as it has been in these last sort of 10 minutes. Hall Johnson again running down that right hand side, and Durrell with a good first bit of play but eventually loses out. Lee misplaces another pass there, but wins the ball back, fortunately. Here's Warburton and Skendy. It seems like Skendy is playing as the striker with Warburton and the number 10 role, as Wrexham just can't quite wriggle their way through there. And now Jimmy Smith's in space. Murphy with space to run. Skendy's just strayed offside, and that's going to be a foul and a yellow card for Fikra Kelleher. It was a clumsy challenge, that. And that's the first booking of the game.
Yeah, I think a deserved yellow there. Like you say, it was clumsy from Kelleher, it was late, and I think Yeovil now, just with sort of 4 minutes of this half left, just look to get some sort of pressure. Like you say, the last sort of 15, 20 minutes, it has been more even. I think Wrexham, they've had less chances down the wings, and Yeovil have sort of got into the game a bit more. They've grown into it.
Played down the line from Dickinson, and that has done absolutely nothing. There were players in the box there that he could have put a long ball into, but he tried to find Rhys Murphy, and it just didn't come off. An improvement from Yeovil, though, in these last few minutes, but still just not at all good enough. When you consider in the last game against these two, and last season as a whole, I think it's fair to say Yeovil, especially in that 3-0, were all over Wrexham. With Wrexham really struggling, it was the complete other way round. Whether they're struggling without the atmosphere of the home fans. Wrexham with another free kick. Looked for the quick option, but wasn't on. Luke Young. Luke Young, someone who knows the Southwest very well. He's from Devon, and he spent, prior to coming to Wrexham, spent his whole career in the Southwest with Plymouth and Torquay. But he's now made a name for himself in North Wales. Record with the ball in. Just over Kwame Thomas, who's going to try and chase that, but that's going to go out for a goal kick. 43rd minute here. The game slowed down a bit. Good enough for Yeovil, considering most of the pace was coming from the red shirts rather than the green shirts. And I'm sure Darren Sarr will have a lot to say to his side at half-time. We saw an instant impact for the Wealdstone game as Yeovil win a free kick. There are players on the bench to make that difference, the likes of Courtney Duffus, Lawson Diath. Gabby Rogers looked a good player when he came on in the last game. He looked yet to see a run in the side for Gabby Rogers, the academy product, as Dickinson takes this free kick, and it's pressed by Durrell. And they were complaining that either that he was too close, I think, or that it hit his arm. But Lee wins the flick on there, completely unmarked, but Wrexham sweep up, and Record could have really easily played that to Lainton. He does eventually. Yeovil need to do that pressing a bit more and make the most of their set pieces. We've been so good from our set pieces this season, but Dickinson's just had two in very quick succession that have just gone straight to opposition players. And Wrexham win the ball and have the chance to break here. Kwame Thomas looking to beat Wilkinson in the air, but Wilkinson gets there ahead of him. 3 minutes of added time here. As the free kick goes against Yeovil, Yeovil are fuming. Darren Sarll's got his hands on his head there. Hall Johnson's won the free kick there for Wrexham, but it looked like a bit of a coming together, to be honest, and if anything, a free kick for Yeovil, but it's going to be another free kick for Wrexham.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how Wrexham have got the free kick there, to be honest. Like you say, it was a coming together that Hall Johnson kind of, I mean, obviously both players going for the ball, but Hall Johnson probably got their second, I'd say, and it's a bit strange that we've ended up with a free kick out of that.
Yeovil will be hoping that they don't concede from this, and it'll be another potential official. And there's going to be a card here from the referee. He's asking for Lee Collins to come and speak to him, and Lee Collins is going to get booked here. Yeovil players certainly not happy about that one. Smith is shouting orders at his defence, Adam Smith that is, to tell them to organise where the wall's to go. They look disjointed. Warburton doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing in the wall, and it's come in, won by Kelleher, who gets it back in, and it's cleared onto the back of a Yeovil player, and they just can't clear, and it comes to Durrell, but it's just gone over, and it was so sloppy from Yeovil Town. They tried to clear it. It hit a Yeovil player's back. I couldn't quite see whose it was, but they're lucky to get away with that because they need to take their first opportunity to clear them. But again, it was similar to the Wealdstone second goal where it dropped out of the hands of Adam Smith and just lay there on the floor for an opposition player to tap in. Half-time approaching here. As Skendi bundles over Kelleher. That's a big battle, that. But James, I presume you're happy with this half. I mean, potentially you'd be annoyed you haven't got another goal, because I think you've had a great spell and you'd be hoping that Yeovil don't come and turn it around in the second half.
Yeah, I think certainly second half, if that is the case, it will be something Dean Keats and the Wrexham players will regret, because I think that first 15 minutes was very much all Wrexham, and I think to only get one goal out of it, you could argue, like you say, is disappointing. It has levelled off in this sort of final 20 minutes of the half, and I think going into half-time, I think from a Yeovil perspective, not happy with the way that it's gone, but I think for it to only be 1-0, it means that you don't have too much to do in terms of maybe turning it around in the second half, like you say.
This will be the last play, and there it is, the half-time whistle. 1-0 to Wrexham. A terrible start from Yeovil Town, but they'll be potentially happy that it's only 1-0 and potentially aggrieved they didn't get that penalty on Matt Warburton. Sorry, not Mark Warburton, manager. But yeah, 1-0 Wrexham. James, happy with that, as you just said?
Yeah, like I say, I think from a perspective of when I was last here 8 months ago, I think this is a far better performance from Wrexham. And I think in terms of the way that Wrexham have played, like you say, Yeovil, in the first 15, 20 minutes, it was almost worrying, really, how much room was given to some of the Wrexham fullbacks and the wingers in that first 15, 20 minutes. But I think Jeffrey going off maybe did make a slight impact. He was giving Wrexham some pace going forwards, and I feel as if him going off, Durrell he's a winger by trade, but he's not quite as fast. He's a bit more stocky. Certainly not a slow player, but I think it's a slightly different way of playing, and I think, like going into the second half, it's very open. It's still all to play for, but I'm certainly pleased with what I've seen from Wrexham in this opening 45 minutes.
So it's half-time here. We'll join you after the interval. It's 1-0 to Wrexham. Welcome back to this second half here at Hewish Park. It's currently 1-0 to Wrexham. Yeovil Town with a really not great first half there, and that's putting it lightly. The players are now back out for this second half, and there's a lot of encouragement. We saw this against Wealdstone, and Yeovil really came out, and with an instant impact, Rhys Murphy came on. No changes at half-time. Obviously, Anthony Jeffrey injured in that first half. He was causing havoc down the right-hand side, and he's been replaced by Durrell. He'll be hoping he can have a similar impact. And now Yeovil will be looking to get an equaliser and just get a goal and not concede any more, to be honest.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think it's interesting how Darren Sarll sent his team out sort of, a minute or two earlier than the Wrexham team. I think it's very much a case of, as Wrexham get underway for the second half, very much a case of trying to get out, like you say, in that Wealdstone game and just sort of righting the wrongs, really, of that first half. Because, like you say, it wasn't an impressive performance from a Yeovil perspective.
Wrexham win the ball there, and Skendy's come a bit deeper in this half, and Luke Wilkinson is on the floor there, and that is not at all good news for Yeovil. Wilkinson looks to be able to get back onto his feet, though, just a knock. That is someone who you would not have wanted to get injured for Yeovil, especially in a game like this where you need to not concede anymore. And he's going up fairly high for this free kick. Charlie Lee looks to win it, and it almost came to Murphy. Here's Worthington. Beats record, sends him onto the floor. Ledbetter with the ball in. Murphy's there, and it's headed clear by Kelleher. Murphy was just underneath that, and it was going straight for his head. It would have been another very quick goal after half-time, but Kelleher was there just to get his head on it and clear it. And it's a corner for Yeovil. I know it's a throw-in, sorry. Charlie Lee with the long throw-in. This is better from Yeovil. Charlie Lee's going to try and use the wind to help this throw-in get into the box as Lainton goes to the floor as he's crowded out by about 9 players from both Wrexham and Yeovil. It goes into the box. It's fired in with the wind. Smith with the header, and it's eventually cleared. Smith wins that. Skendy turns to shoot. Charlie Lee shoots, and it's blocked. A lot of appeals in the box, and Lee tries to cross it in, but Lainton saves, and that's a very encouraging start for Yeovil.
Absolutely. I mean, there's already been more chances there, you could argue, for Yeovil in, 2 minutes of the second half than the entire first 45. I think very dangerous signs for Wrexham, and I really hope it isn't a case that we're made to rue those missed chances in the first half, because this is a very encouraging start. It's a very different looking Yeovil in this second half.
You just wonder why Yeovil couldn't have been like this in the first half, why it takes a half-time, I'm assuming, sort of telling off from Darren Sarll to get to this level. And the wind there was really helping Charlie Lee's throw-ins. And Yeovil players confused as to where to take the throw-in from. Dickinson eventually plays it to Collins. Yeovil going to be looking to sort of just have more of the ball, be more in control of this second half. Wilkinson tries to switch to find Jimmy Smith. Skendy also there, but Lainton gathers. He's put it on the floor. Heart-in-mouth moment there for Rob Lainton as he has flashbacks of last time at Hewish Park. And it's planed over to Rutherford, who tries to cut inside. He wins it back, and Harris is there. Durrell, and it's a good save from Adam Smith. From the shot from Elliot Durrell, the substitute. It was going into the bottom left corner, but Adam Smith with a good low save there, and it's a good chance for Wrexham.
Yeah, very much so. It's very nice play from Rutherford just to bring it down, and nice shot along the floor from Durrell, trying to place it there. But like you say, a very good save from Adam Smith, and Wrexham now with record having this throw on the far side over there.
But Worthington wins out, plays it early, but Fikra Kelleher gets there before him. Wilkinson down again there. As Wrexham have a throw in. The referee's run over to him. He's worried it's a head injury, I think, but I think Wilkinson will be okay. He's just getting back to his feet. It's just a bit of a knock again. Nice to see the faces in the crowd returning to Hewish Park there for fans who can't be here, or anyone who can't be here today. And I do think Yeovil are missing that, like every team, but Yeovil really love the support from all the stands and helps push them on as Jay Harris wins out on Albie Skendi. But Jordan Davis with a loose touch. And it's a throw in deep inside Wrexham's own half as you hear the shout of box them in from goalkeeper Adam Smith. Wrexham are in no hurry to take this one. Yeah, I think Yeovil are fortunate that Anthony Jeffrey had to be substituted off for Wrexham, as he was really causing issues for Yeovil down that left-hand side. As Skendi looks to battle against Jay Harris. Dickinson just late there on Luke Young. And the referee wants to talk to the experienced left-back. Don't think it's going to be a card. He's just telling him to calm down. A lot of little fouls for Yeovil as Wrexham tried to play early despite the ref calling Carl Dickinson, who was supposed to be in that position for the chat. But yeah, a lot of little fouls there for Yeovil and giving away a lot of needless free kicks.
I think, it's certainly something that happened points in the first half. I think there, Carl Dickinson's just sort of gone in a bit late there on Luke Young. I kind of thought he could have played advantage, to be honest, but it's a free kick now as Thomas goes for it.
Yeovil trying to defend this. It comes to Luke Young with the volley, and it's held comfortably by Adam Smith. It was a good controlled left-footed volley there from Luke Young, but it didn't quite have the pace nor the precision to go in. But it was a good connection nonetheless. Yeovil now a chance to keep the ball. Smith kicks it long. It's as if, I think Darren Sarles told him that they're going with the wind in this half and just kick it long, like they did against Kings Lynn. You don't know what could happen with the wind, so you might as well go for a long kick there, and the ball's gone out of play there. A lot more talking from Yeovil Town in this half. You can certainly hear from the likes of Carl Dickinson, Jimmy Smith. Collins clears. Murphy can't quite get there first as Vassell wins out. And here's Record playing with fire there at the back, but does enough. And it's created space for Hall Johnson. Kelleher. Hall Johnson tries to beat Smith. Smith falls over, doesn't quite do enough. Here's Harris. Nice play this from Wrexham, as Yeovil can't get a touch on the ball. Durrell with a bit of a loose pass there, but Davis maintains the Wrexham possession. But then as soon as Yeovil get the ball, it's just hoof forward to no one. That was a really nice spell of play there. Not necessarily pressure, but a good play there from Wrexham.
Yeah, very much. I think Hall Johnson, again, he's been a threat down this right-hand side. He kind of starts it off. Harris looked cute on the ball again. Unfortunately, like you say, Jordan Davis just falling over there, but that's probably, I'd say, Wrexham's best bit of play in this first 15 minutes, and look to have kind of got a foothold back in this game now after Yeovil have come out definitely stronger in this second half.
Here comes Durrell down the right-hand side. Jay Harris switches it up. Jay Harris returning to Wrexham. And here comes Record, who it just got tangled between Rutherford and Record there. That was a great opportunity for Wrexham, as no one tracked Jamie Record running down that left-hand side, as Hall Johnson wins an interception there, and it just epitomises how impressive Wrexham's two fullbacks have been this afternoon. Charlie Lee there, looking to dictate the play, gives it to Worthington. Bit of argy-bargy there between Matt Worthington and Paul Rutherford, but Worthington wins out, and again it's another long ball from Yeovil that doesn't find a shirt in green. The long ball's really not quite working for Yeovil here.
Yeah, well, when you say about the going with the wind and just using the wind in the second half with these long kicks, although it's kind of all it's resulted in is losing one of the balls over the stand here. So I think it's very much a case of, in these conditions, you do need to try and keep it on the floor a bit more and just hope that, you say, there's just going to be some sort of mistake in the box there, as it's been bogged down in midfield this sort of past minute or two. It's just sort of been knocked around, isn't it?
Reece Hall-Johnson with a lot of space here in front of him. Just Carl Dickinson, who's going to look to prevent the attack as he's forced to play back to Jay Harris. Jay Harris made over 200 appearances for Wrexham between 2010 and 2015 before going on to the likes of Tranmere and Macclesfield, but then was re-signed just before the suspension of play. And here comes Rutherford in space. Thomas is in the middle, free, but it's good defending from Collins, who wins the goal kick for Yeovil. That was a great opportunity for Wrexham as Kwame Thomas was free in the box there. But Lee Collins, did enough to win the ball and then win a goal kick as well.
Yeah, I think that was a good piece of play again from Wrexham. As I say, Wrexham just starting to get into this second half a little bit more now and kind of reverting and settling down to how it was in the first half after a spirited start from Yeovil.
Matt Worthington with a great challenge in the middle of the pitch there. Dickinson looks to find Murphy, but Yeovil just don't have the pace, as I was going to say, but Murphy does well there to beat Kelleher and win the corner. Yeovil obviously scoring from a corner against Wealdstone. Charlie Lee was the one who rose highest. He'll be hoping for that again as Matt Worthington's going to take this, an in-swinging corner. Just Dickinson and Leadbitter back. Warburton lurking on the edge of the box. There, the number 11. It's played in by Worthington, and it's gone over everyone. Charlie Lee went down with half-hearted appeals for a penalty, but I don't think the referee was ever going to give something like that. And there's going to be two changes for Yeovil here. Ryan Burke and Courtney Duffus are the ones stripped and ready. Dickinson off for youngster Ryan Burke. So that's a like-for-like substitution. And then it looks like it's going to be Jimmy Smith for Courtney Duffus. So you'd expect Duffus to play up front with Murphy, with Skendi now moving back into midfield and Warburton staying in that number 10 role. And Ryan Burke, the youngster, the young Irish left-back on loan from Birmingham City, coming on for the more experienced Carl Dickinson. Burke, who'll be fresh, hasn't played many minutes yet, came on as a sub against Kings Lynn, in midfield that was. But he, someone who likes to tackle, potentially a bit more athletic than Carl Dickinson, I think it's fair to say, as Lee Collins clears. And here's Matt Warburton, yet to make an impact on his Yeovil Town debut. Ryan Burke with his first few touches with a nice ball over, which has found Reece Murphy via Fikra Kelleher. And it's a terrible challenge there from Jay Harris, who wasn't really looking at the ball there. He just sort of bundled over Reece Murphy, and he's somehow complaining as he receives a yellow card.
Yeah, Harris just sort of jumped on Murphy's back there. It was, I was saying in the first half about Harris being a more defensive sort of player, and he's not afraid to sort of get into a scrap and put a tackle in, and I think that's kind of evident there. He, as I say, it's almost like a sort of Aussie rules challenge, the way he just kind of jumped on his back.
Free kick for Yeovil, though. They'll be hoping they can actually beat the one-man wall this time. Ryan Burke's the only one over it. He's just come on. see what his set pieces are like. The only left-footed player in the Yeovil team. He's trying to find Charlie Lee. It comes to Matt Worthington, and his effort just goes over the bar. Yeovil are appealing for a corner, but what an effort from Matt Worthington, who hit the half volley so sweetly, and that was just rising, and it just rose over the bar.
Yeah, very good effort there from Worthington. It's slightly scary from a Wrexham perspective. He's sort of jumping up next to me. It's yeah, it was a very, very good hit, very clean strike, and I think if that's on target, that's certain 1-1, isn't it?
Rob Lainton struggling to find a ball in goal, and there's one freshly disinfected, as they all are. And it was the ball in from Burke didn't find a Yeovil head, but it fell down kindly on the edge of the box, bouncing to Worthington, who connected very well with that. And if it was just a few inches lower, it could have been an outstanding effort. So 2 changes Yeovil have made. Duffus here, one of them. Holds it up well as it rebounds, and Skendy's in, having to beat Hall Johnson for pace, but Hall Johnson with some great tracking back as it deflected through kindly to Albie Skendy, who just didn't have the legs. Hall Johnson did well to recover there, as it's another throw-in for Yeovil. Charlie Lee here, going to go for the long throw. The wind's really been helping these long throws. They've been going a lot further than they usually do in this game. As he launches it, the wind's caught it, and it hit the post there and came off a Wrexham player and gone out for a corner. Lainton was completely crowded out there by Yeovil players who were also being marked by Wrexham players, so he had nowhere to move and just scrambled it to the post. The referee is now running towards the dugout as if he's looking to do a VAR check, but I highly doubt it. He's speaking to the 4th official here, and I think Darren Sarl has been given a yellow card for some comments being made at the 4th official, most likely. Here's Matt Worthington with the corner. One from a long throw-in. Played in, and Skendy was there, but he just couldn't quite get there. Comes to Burke, who can't find anyone, and now Durrell looks to break for Wrexham. He's got a lot of space. Burke's tracking back. Durrell with Rutherford in the middle and Davis on that left-hand side, but Courtney Duffus, the striker, tracking back very well there to win the ball. It gives it straight to Jamie Record. Thomas, Davis, Rutherford in space. Yeovil want an offside, and it's given. So Darren Sarl has been booked there. The referee sprinted over to the 4th official for that. And what we can only assume is some fruity words to the 4th official, I think we can assume. A much more even second half this, James.
Yeah, very much so. I think, like you mentioned in the first half about how Darren Sarl would have to get into Yeovil at half-time, and I feel like he's definitely said something, because it's been a much more positive performance from Yeovil in this second 45. I think Wrexham, we have had a few chances, but not quite the same fluidity, and there's not quite the same sort of freedom on those flanks there was in the first half for the likes of Hall Johnson and Record. I think it's sort of a bit more in the middle. It's been bogged down a little bit more. This sort of first 20 minutes, this second half, is, I don't know, it's one of those things where he can never keep up the same intensity, obviously, for a full 90 minutes, but I think from what I've seen so far in this second half from Wrexham, it's all right. It's an adequate performance as Lainton strikes his free kick long.
It does make you wonder why Yeovil can't start games in this fashion. Why they have to have that first half to almost warm up and then finally get going after a half-time team talk from Darren Sarl. As Collins looks to bring it out from the back. Lee over to Murphy, and almost some nice play there as Worthington looked for the follow-up run from Charlie Lee. but it's played over, and Burke can't quite get there, so Durrell's won that ball. A bit of a hopeful ball there over. Durrell's not happy, he wants a foul from Ryan Burke, but nothing given. Adam Smith covering the sun from his eyes as he wants to play that one. Just Yeovil are so much more calm, so much more in control in this half. They're just dictating the sort of tempo of this half a lot more as Skendi chests that down impressively. And it's hoofed clear by Kelleher. Here's Charlie Lee. Tries to find Murphy, but the passes just haven't quite been coming together for Yeovil. And it's a free kick for Yeovil there as Thomas went down, I think too easily for the ref, and then tried to pick the ball up and stop the ball to win a free kick. But the referee's given the free kick Yeovil's way. Here's Warburton. Skendi puts in a tackle there on. Can't quite tell who's down there.
I think it's Luke Young. He's gone down holding his ankle. He doesn't look particularly pleased with that challenge from the Albanian. He's up to his feet now, thankfully, from a Wrexham perspective. But it was an interesting challenge there from Skendi.
No free kick given, just a throw in. But Luke Young's back onto his feet now, and Hall Johnson has a throw in for Wrexham. Ryan Burke wins the header. Durrell beats his man, and it's a free kick as Wilkinson shoulder barges Durrell over. He is a lot smaller than Luke Wilkinson, Elliot Durrell, and it's a free kick in a really dangerous area here for Wrexham as Jordan Davis looks to take this with his left foot. Yeovil need to concentrate for this as the likes of Kelleher, Thomas, Vassell are in there. Just Matt Warburton in the wall. And it's Jordan Davis to take. Cleared well by Charlie Lee, who was played back in there by Jay Harris, and then cleared for... The referee's given a corner. The Yeovil players aren't happy, but it took some deflection, and it's a corner for Wrexham. It was a good clearance from Charlie Lee, who lost his headband in the process and looked to the floor where he potentially should have been looking out for the second ball. And here's Davis to take the corner. Ball in. Collins is pushed over. Murphy's there to clear up. There's no one ahead of him to clear to. And it's dribbled out of play for another corner. He couldn't quite keep that in, and it's another corner for Wrexham.
Yeah, this is a good spell of play here for Wrexham. They've just got Yeovil penned in with these few sort of set pieces, and it's interesting to note Durrell for those two Davis deliveries, just standing in front of the goalkeeper Smith. He's gone over to this far side now to take the corner. Again, look to swing the ball in. You say to the likes of Vassell, Thomas, Kelleher, just try and get those sort of tall heads on the end of it.
There is the ball in, and Smith claims very well, and now Murphy sprinting forward, as is Matt Warburton, who he finds in space here. Warburton's got a lot of space to run forward here. Wrexham have players back though. Ryan Burke ahead of him, along with Courtney Duffus. Warburton looking to bring it round Hall Johnson, and he does so, but the foul is given as he bodies Hall Johnson. He was in a good position there if the ref didn't give that, but he did just use his body a bit too much to get in there. Yeovil trying to counter there, but not too much pace in the Yeovil side, and always going to be a struggle. Now the referee's having a word with Langton, telling him there's going to be no more opportunities for time wasting. It is the 69th minute here, and it's still 1-0 to Wrexham. Will Wrexham feel they should have made more of that first half? Jordan Davis out wide to Jamie Record. Goes for the effort, and there was a bit of a wild effort from quite far out, but didn't quite find the back of a net. But yeah, a much better second half this from Yeovil, and a lot more even.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why Record had a shot there. I mean, he was in a lot of room on that far left-hand side, and I think a bit wasteful, to be honest, from the left-back, although he's grown into the second half more. And again, Hall Johnson just making a wonderful, wonderful challenge there.
Warburton adjudged to have fouled Record there as he just nudged into him. Darren Sull not happy. Needs to be careful. He's on that yellow card. But it's another free kick for Wrexham. There have been countless fouls from Yeovil Town on Wrexham. Obviously a poor season by Wrexham standards last season, but a massive squad overhaul and bringing in quality. How are Wrexham sort of fans hoping to fare this season?
I mean, the thing is, even ever since we got relegated in 2008 from League Two, it's always been getting back into the Football League. We were in it for 87 years before that, and I think playoffs, with the squad we've got, I think playoffs is kind of the idea. Based off what I've seen today and the opening two games, I'd probably stick to that assessment. I think if we can keep players fit, obviously Jeffrey going off's been a problem. Adi Yusuf, our main striker, is also injured. He got injured in the first game against Boreham Wood, but provided that players can be kept fit, I can see no reason why Wrexham can't, at least challenge for playoffs this season.
Yeovil in Wrexham's half here as Wilkinson looks to pick out a green shirt, but it's going to trickle out for a throw-in, but Yeovil can hopefully box them in. Courtney Duffus is ushering the players into that corner to try and stop Wrexham able to get it out. It's Hall Johnson with the throw-in. Just under 20 minutes left here for Yeovil Town to find an equaliser. Burke gets something on that. Cleared, comes to Skendy. Warburton on his debut. Wilkinson now looks to pick out Charlie Lee, who just couldn't rise high enough. And it's a Wrexham throw-in, despite claims from Yeovil Town players. And it's Yeovil's final substitution. It's Gabby Rogers, the youngster, on for Matt Worthington. Gabby Rogers with a bit more time here to show what he's about. He had a good cameo appearance in the final few minutes against Wealdstone. And the academy product's going to come in here for Matt Worthington in the heart of midfield. He's a tricky player, potentially someone who can find that creativity and get out of the tight spaces. Hoofed forward there by Kwame Thomas. He got his goal, separating the two teams. His first goal for Wrexham, for the former England under-20 striker. Ryan Burke. Kelleher with a mishit clearance, and it's come straight back to him. They've let it bounce. Murphy's preventing it, and Duffus there looks to be fouled, but nothing given. Wilkinson does well to beat Thomas in the air. Gabby Rogers' first touch. Duffus is going to chase it, but Kelleher's there to head back calmly to Rob Langton. Duffus there. in the same position that he was 8 months ago against Rob Lainton. And Ryan Burke heads it straight out for a Wrexham throw-in. Collins just wins out there on Kwame Thomas and finds Murphy, who chests down well. Here's Gabby Rogers in space. Leadbitter on his right-hand side finds Warburton on the left. A chance for him to show what he's about. Burke just can't quite away from Yeovil, and they win it back. Albie Skendi now. Gabby Rogers, the quick turn, going for the overlap, but Leadbitter loses out there to Record. It's played over to Wilkinson. You do think it does look like Yeovil are the more likely to create something at this moment, but they do need to be wary of that counter-attack from Wrexham.
Yeah, I think very much so. You can tell in this second half that Wrexham really have just dropped back almost into a 4-5-1 really. Thomas looks a bit isolated up front. Also, Record and Hall Johnson, the fullbacks, they're not getting forward quite as much as Duffus now plays it onto the right-hand side here for Yeovil.
Here's Gabby Rogers, quick step over, looking for options, no one's offering anything. Charlie Lee now. Here's Warburton. Yeovil really applying the pressure here, but yet to create any clear chances. Comes to Duffus, ball in, and they win a corner. Nice play from Yeovil, but they're really struggling to break down this Wrexham defence and actually create a goal-scoring opportunity. They'll be hoping they can do it from this corner, which Gabby Rogers is going to take, with every Wrexham player in the box there. All the Yeovil players surrounding Rob Lainton to prevent him from moving. Rogers with the corner. Short to Warburton. Rogers plays it back in, but it's cleared. Yeovil didn't make the most of that corner, but at least they've still got the ball and they're not being counter-attacked. Here's Charlie Lee. Plays the ball in. Wilkinson's there. Kelleher beats him in the air. Collins wins it. The centre-back skins Hall Johnson. Plays it in. Nice ball. Charlie Lee's there. And it just went over. Charlie Lee just needed to get a bit more over that ball. And it just went over the bar. That was a great opportunity for Yeovil Town. And Wrexham will be worried.
I'm worried. I think, yeah, certainly, as I said, we're just dropping deeper and deeper, Wrexham. And as Jordan Ponticelli now comes on for, I believe that's Jordan Davis, so just looking to give Kwame Thomas, I mentioned him being isolated, just give him some support up there in this sort of final sort of 13 or so minutes for Wrexham. But yeah, as you say, Yeovil definitely looking the more likely team to score now, as Lainton is taking a long time to retrieve this ball.
So that implies a change of system for Wrexham, maybe a 4-4-2 with Durrell and Rutherford on the wings, with Thomas and Ponticelli up front. Great play that from Yeovil, and they'll be hoping that can result in a goal, and I think they'd be happy with another point here, considering how the game's gone and how poor the first half was for Yeovil Town. Wrexham going to look to just slow things down, keep the ball as much as they can. And if they could nick another goal, I think Yeovil will be really deflated and would struggle to get a pick in. Durrell looks to find Kwame Thomas. Smith's going to see that one out and does well. Looking to get it going quickly. Wrexham are well organised. Rogers offering an option, coming deep. Wilkinson bringing it forward. Over to his centre-back partner, Lee Collins. Now Burke, well played from Yeovil. Here's Albie Skendi in a dangerous position. Tries to find Gabby Rogers, who just couldn't quite get there. Too many Wrexham bodies, and now Wrexham are going to look to counter, but Young turns and picks out a record very well. And there was really nice play out from the back there from Yeovil. It found Albie Skendi in a great position, but then Skendi just couldn't quite pick out the youngster Gabby Rogers, and Yeovil need to create some goal-scoring opportunities here if they want to get anything out of this game. So Ponticelli's come on for Wrexham, signed permanently in the summer from Coventry. He had a successful but brief loan spell just before the suspension of the National League. Got 2 goals in 5 games. He was a hot prospect in the Coventry Academy, and he'll be hoping to prove himself at this level as he struggled for minutes in the Football League. Sprayed out wide to Hall Johnson. Played in nicely, and Adam Smith there looked worried, but luckily there wasn't a Wrexham player in there to challenge or get their head on it. James, how are you feeling going into these last 10 minutes? Obviously 1-0 to Wrexham, just over, well, 10 minutes plus added time to play.
Yeah, I'm liking the move from Dean Keats to bring on Ponticelli. I think, as I said, Thomas was extremely isolated, and I think it's a danger for Wrexham if they do sit back, that the way Yeovil are playing as they come forward again now with Warburton, that there may be a goal.
And Rhys Murphy just couldn't quite get his feet together, and there was a crucial touch to take it away from him there. It was a really nice link-up play from Warburton, and Yeovil just need to get one of these opportunities and take it. Wrexham happy just to keep the ball. Skendi does well there as he forces Hall Johnson to go long. And Adam Smith is in a hurry to collect. Hall Johnson's gone down here. He's taken his boot off. I think his ankle has been hurt by a challenge from Albie Skendi there. Lainton looks in trouble as well. He's holding his left leg, but he hasn't called for anything. He's going to carry on. Played really nicely to Courtney Duffus, who wins out, gets the touch, but just can't quite find Ryan Burke. Wrexham aren't happy with the speed of that goal kick, in which it was taken. 7 minutes to go here of the 90. Wrexham are taking their time with everything they can. Yeovil players not happy with the steward taking his time to give the ball to Hall Johnson. Push there from Kwame Thomas. Yeovil players really shouting now, really wanting an equaliser. And they're both centre-backs going up for this free kick from Adam Smith. High line from Wrexham. Smith, it just goes straight out. Got to be aware of the wind in that situation that will just carry that ball. Yeovil with more of the ball, but just struggling to create and break down this Wrexham defence.
Yeah, I mean, having seen sort of Yeovil over these 83 minutes. There isn't really anyone, I would say, in there who's looked to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and really create too much. I think I have to be honest with you. I've been a bit disappointed by Warburton. I think he's kind of moved from being up front to sort of in that number 10 role. But I feel like obviously it's his debut, but he's maybe not got into the game quite as he would have liked to.
Free kick for Yeovil, as Charlie Lee is holding his face. Smith needs to make sure he doesn't overhit this one. No more changes for Yeovil. As everyone's up in the Wrexham half. Ryan Burke offers the short option. Smith doesn't want to take it. He puts that one a lot more cutely in, and it looks like there's going to be a corner for Yeovil. Gabby Rogers runs over, so it's going to be the first outswinging corner for Yeovil we've seen of the afternoon. Warburton tackled too easily there by Luke Young. Now short of options for the throw, but Charlie Lee's going to hurl this into the box. The Wrexham defenders are screaming at everyone who is in the box to get back in. And it's a good throw, but it was just a bit loose. Appeals for handball. And now Ponticelli with the chance to break here. Gabby Rogers tracking back. Rutherford's in the box there. Smith has come long. He's trying to round him. He's made the angle difficult, but it's good goalkeeping from Adam Smith. Rutherford, I think, may have struggled with that. I mean, if there was a Wrexham player running in, he could have found him. But it was good goalkeeping from Smith, who didn't go down early, made him try and go round him, and then forced a corner for Wrexham, who countered quickly there with Ponticelli fresh from the bench.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed initially. I thought Ponticelli could have gone on a bit further, but it was a great ball into Rutherford. And like you say, Smith did well just to narrow the angle and force it out for the corner, which will now be taken out swinging by Elliot Durrell.
Murphy staying out of the box for this one. Durrell takes. Out by Burke. Harris wanted to hit it, and it's a free kick. That was a dangerous tackle from Ryan Burke. And players are pushing each other here. The referee's going to give a yellow card to Ryan Burke. There's a lot of pushing and shoving going on here, just on the edge of the box. He's still on the floor there. Jay Harris looks to be in pain, and it's a great position for a free kick here. Wasn't a nice challenge, that, from Ryan Burke, but it shows the frustration of the Yeovil players. They're all surrounding the ref. And as I say, it's a great opportunity for Wrexham in a good position. Who are you expecting to be on this one, James?
This is very much within Luke Young's range. He scored a very good goal, as I mentioned earlier, against Boreham Wood on the opening days. He's quite good from long distance. It's also quite ironic because this is, if you remember the game in February, this is where that free kick from Luke Wilkinson, it was roughly this area to make it 3-0, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see if, in a sort of similar position, if Young can seal the game in Wrexham's favour this time round.
Wilkinson, Skendy, Leadbitter in the wall. And Collins, all Yeovil players about, apart from Rhys Murphy, who's having a word with Rhys Hall-Johnson. Free kick here. Durrell and Young over this one. Smith screaming at the wall, of which is made up of 6 Yeovil players. Taken by Young, but the wall does its job. Today's back to market man of the match is number 6, Luke Wilkinson. So that's today's back to market man of the match, number 6, Luke Wilkinson. Hall-Johnson here with the throw. Skendy pressuring Durrell and wins the throw-in, which looked like it came off a Yeovil player, sort of Albie Skendi, but it's given Yeovil's way. Lee challenges, loses the headband again. Murphy with the quick throw-in to try and find Duffus, but Kelleher's height is enough to keep it out. Now Lee launches a long throw. The players aren't quite ready for it. Trying to catch Wrexham's defence unawares, and it's corner for Yeovil. In the 89th minute, 30 seconds left of the 90. Gabby Rogers to take. You wonder if Adam Smith is going to get the opportunity to go in. He's an extremely tall person. Lainton is surrounded by players. Rogers ball in. Ledbetter looked to meet, but it was cleared by a Wrexham head and another corner. Rogers to take again. The 90 minutes is up, and it's going to be 5 minutes of added time here. Rogers with the ball in. Lee rises highest, and it just goes onto the roof of the net. Lee with a similar opportunity to the one against Wealdstone, but it just went onto the roof of the net. Rhys Murphy is getting the ball for Rob Lainton so that there's no time wasting. So 5 minutes of added time here at Hewish Park. And Lainton's going to be booked here for time wasting. The referee did warn him, and the referee has produced the yellow card. Last few minutes for Yeovil Town. Lee wins the header. Wilkinson is playing as a striker, it seems, and wins the throw-in. It's going to be a long throw from Charlie Lee. Launches it in. Cleared by Kelleher. Comes back out to Lee, but Luke Young just gets there ahead. 4 minutes remaining. Charlie Lee again going to launch this. They've been going a lot further into the box with this wind. But it goes straight to Jay Harris, and Gabby Rogers does well to win the header, and Rhys Murphy completely slices his effort, and Ponticelli's now beating down on Ryan Burke. Skendi does well. Duffus with a loose touch, and really clumsy challenge that from Duffus, who pushes over Hall Johnson, and Wrexham will be very happy to get the ball back and take some time over this.
Yeah, I think we'll, almost 2 minutes of added time played. Hall Johnson there just sort of buying Wrexham some time. I think it's very much a case of just trying to see this out now. Obviously, Lainton, you can see just sort of trudging over. I mean, I'm not sure how much that is to do with the fact that he was holding his back earlier, and I was slightly concerned to potentially see him go off. He certainly looked a lot more assured than he did in February here after, as you said, that Duffus freak goal almost as he launches it long, although it goes out of play, and Yeovil will take the throw-in quickly.
Duffus does well there. Good ball over from Luke Wilkinson, but Record just has enough pace to beat Rhys Murphy, who was in on goal. Charlie Lee. Luke Wilkinson is playing as a striker. Ledbetter is filling in for him. It's good to have that. We saw his pace tracking back, Ledbetter, in case there are any, but he's gone up for this long throw. Lee with the opportunity to cross. It comes to Ledbetter, who finds Duffus, and it's played across goal for Murphy, and it just goes wide, and it's a corner for Yeovil. Wrexham aren't at all happy that it's gone for a corner, but what an opportunity there. Duffus played it back, and Murphy was there, and I thought it might have been creeping into the left-hand side.
Yeah, from where we're sitting, it almost looked like a goal, to be honest, didn't it? And I'm not entirely sure if it is a corner or not, but it doesn't really bother Yeovil as they take it quickly.
Here's Gabby Rogers with the corner. Warburton's going to take this one, the in-swinger. So close for Yeovil. Warburton with the ball in, and it doesn't beat the first man. Rogers is there to collect, though. He's going to play it back to Adam Smith. All players ahead of him. Comes in. Here's Luke Wilkinson on the edge of the box. It's really scrappy now, and Yeovil are desperate to score, and Wrexham are desperate to defend. And it's brought forward here by Jay Harris. There's Rutherford on the right, who's just offside. Yeovil were really trying to play them offside as they were left light at the back, and Smith's sprinting to take this. There's just over 1 minute of the added 5 left here. Into the 94th minute. He's got to take it back here. Desperate times now for Yeovil Town to get something from this game. It's gone long, and it's going to go over Langton, and it goes onto the roof of the net, and that almost caught Rob Langton out. With this wind, you don't know what's going to happen, but Langton was watching that well and saw it out for a goal kick as Luke Wilkinson's placed it there for him. And there's 30 seconds left of this added 5 minutes. Langton's going to take as long as he wants with this. Already been booked, of course, for time wasting. Collins goes long, as he has to, and pushed over there, and it's a free kick for Yeovil. That was clumsy from record and really unnecessary, to be honest, but Yeovil, this is their last chance. We've gone over the 5 minutes added time. This is a great opportunity for Yeovil. All players in the box, apart from Burke, Adam Smith and Gabby Rogers. Burke and Gabby Rogers are standing over it. It's going to be Rogers to take. Rogers with the ball in, comes to Wilkinson, and it's come off a Wrexham head, I believe. But he's there to clear, and the ref blows for full time. And, well, it was a much improved second half, as we've been saying all season in every game for Yeovil Town. But full time, 1-0 Wrexham. That Kwame Thomas goal early on in the first half. But Yeovil just don't quite have enough. But Wrexham did incredibly well there to keep the clean sheet, and were really defending with their on the lines there and putting all into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think in all fairness to Yeovil, they gave it a very, very good go there in the final 10, 15 minutes. It really was a case of Wrexham just sort of sitting back and just hanging on, really. It was, from the sort of slight bias that I have watching this, it was a slightly concerning final 10 minutes there. But I think on the balance of play, as you say, Wrexham arguably the better team in the first half. I'm extremely pleased with that result, and I think, would you say on balance of play over the 90 minutes, probably a fair one?
Especially considering that first half where Yeovil really just weren't creating anything. I think that 1-0, Yeovil can't complain after basically just not being in the game for a whole half. And it's 1-0 full time here to Wrexham. So 2 draws and a loss in Yeovil's opening 3 games. And my many thanks to James Kelly for my co-commentator.
Thank you very much, Marcus. I've enjoyed it an awful lot.
And as I say, full time, 1-0 to Wrexham.